Hello again, Bit Hero friends. This is Mcproseph joining you again for another new player tip video. In this video, I'm going to answer 5 of the most common questions I've been seeing in World Chat amongst the new player community. As you saw at the beginning of the video, I did a highlight of what those 5 questions will be. I'm going to start a quick dungeon here so you have something to watch. And then I'm just going to dive into the questions. So question number 1 is, how do I play Bit Heroes on a PC or a computer? And that answer will be a congregate.com link that I will leave below in the comments. Simply click the link. You will go to the Congregate website and it will ask you for your username and password, and you simply log in. Simple as that. So find the link below, and that is how you play on computer. Question number 2 is, I'm stuck on a flag. How can I progress? So a lot of players are noticing that once they get to zone number 2 and they start fighting the penguins, for example, that the game suddenly gets a lot harder. And that is by design how it's supposed to be, because you can't progress with little to no gear and little to no stats. So as I've mentioned in prior videos, as a new player, you're going to want to put all your stats into power until your power gets to about 100. Once it gets to 100, you're going to start putting your stats into speed until it gets to 100, and by that point you should be close to level 100, and then at that point you'll decide, are you going to go DPS or tank? But back to the question of being stuck on the flag. If you find yourself dying to any flag in any zone of the whole game, the correct answer here is to go back to the latest heroic dungeon that you've completed and beat it specifically on heroic mode until you gain about 5+ levels. You go here, you use your friends to beat it. If you don't have high level friends, you can ask in chat. And after you level up, say about 5 times, you now have more materials to upgrade your gear. You now have possibly more familiars that you found that you could have won to your team by giving them gold. And you will also have more stats just from leveling, and you'll be able to just power through the penguins like never before. So long story short, go back to zone 1. Do the 3rd castle specifically on heroic, and you will level very fast. Go with 5 levels, try the flag again. If you die again, go back and level some more, because you have to keep in mind, if you're dying, you're losing experience. Moving on to question number 3. What are runes? When should I make them, and what kind should I make? So we're going to talk about runes here. Newer players don't really see runes super early. You might find something in your inventory called a rune fragment, but if you're in town here, you go to craft and click trade, and about halfway down you'll find these little runes right here. So we have minor rune, major rune, and meta rune. My recommendation is to craft these as you get enough rune fragments to do so. If you're, say, level 20 or so, you may already have enough to craft your first minor rune. And here's my recommendation. If we look at the minor runes, you can see this one gives plus 5% gold find, capture rate, experience, and item find. What you want to do is focus specifically on minor runes and craft a few of these until you get 2 of the plus 5% runes. And what you're going to do once you have those is click on your portrait, click runes, and then you're going to place them right here. So if I wanted my experience rune to be in, I would click switch or insert. Depending on if you haven't done it yet, you would click insert. And then I'm going to find my experience rune and pop it in. And I'll pop one in over here as well. Now by doing that, I now have plus 10 experience. And any dungeon, PvP, or gauntlet I do from this point on, I get 20% additional experience for. So keep that in mind. Now moving on to the other type of runes, we see that there are major runes and meta runes. As a new player, these are not yet for you. You can craft them, it's your decision, but my recommendation is to aim for experience. If while trying to craft these you get some of these others, they can help you. Our next question is going to be about schematics, and if you craft any of these item find runs, these will actually help you find schematics in the dungeons. But my priority is always experience, because if you are searching for example, gear or a sword or something at level 20, that gear is going to be irrelevant in 10 levels. But if you focus on experience only, you're going to level really quick and just be out of that zone before you know it. Major runs are more based on damage, evade, health, things of this nature, but you'll notice it's only plus 1%. And if you're a new player under level 100, that 1% boost isn't going to help you a whole lot. This is more for when you get into raiding. That way your raid team can benefit from you having additional damage. So hold off on the major runs and hold off on the meta runs, because they're the same deal, and go for the minor run. Another tip is if you look at PvP and Gauntlet and click rewards, notice this week if by simply participating in PvP you will actually unlock a major rune for free, and this will save you 25 rune fragments and about 10k gold. Alright, moving on to the next question. What familiars should I try to get first? The familiars you should try to get first are Shramps and Borlin. If you need to know more information about them, there's a website called the Bit Heroes Wiki, which I will also leave below, that you can go to and simply find Shramps and Borlin, which is right here. So here's Shramps and here's Borlin, and in order to make them, you're going to go to your fusion, and you'll find down here where to make them at. Now keep in mind that you can only make them if you find the schematic to do so. The schematics are found in specific dungeons. For example, the Borlin requires a Merlin and a Bob to create. Now, where do we find Bob? You would go to the Bit Hero Wiki, look for Bob, and it will tell you specifically where in Zone 1 you can catch Bob. Same for Merlin, and same for Gramps and Trump. If you catch these guys and click Fuse, you can create a Borlin. However, the catch is the schematic is only going to drop in the dungeons that offer Bob and Merlin. Once you find the Borlin schematic, then you can create this creature. Okay, moving on. And the final question that we just basically covered was, where do I get schematics? The short answer is they can be dropped in any dungeon. However, for specific schematics, you're going to have to go to the dungeon that offers that pet or that familiar in order to actually find it. For example, if we look down here, I recently caught the Yeti right here, and I wanted to craft his upgrade, and his upgrade's name was Yobo. I wanted to craft this guy. Now, the only way to do that was for me to look on the Bit Hero Wiki, go to Quest, find out which place he lives in, and I found out it was only Yeti's Tundra. So I had to go here and beat it on Heroic many times to find the schematic for that pet, that familiar. And that's basically what you do for those schematics. Keep in mind here's another pro tip. Back to the flag thing. If you're stuck in Zone 2, for example on this flag down here, which is very common, what you're going to want to do is go back and do specifically this castle. And here's why. Notice this gives you 400% item find and 200% experience, 200% gold, and 200% capture rate. So 400, 222. Now if we go to even one dungeon prior to that, it's not quite the same. you get 50% reduction in item find. And now if you went to the first one, it's even less. So basically, by doing the easier dungeons, you just get less of a benefit. So keep that in mind. I think that's about it for today's discussion. I think in the next video I'm going to discuss specifically gems. Just as a quick overview, I would use your first 200 gems on a defensive pet. Specifically a pet, not an accessory. So this small defense pet egg, I would buy one and just be happy with whatever you get. And after that, you're going to want to save your gems until you get to 1600, because at some point in the game, you're going to start encountering legendary familiars, and they cost 1600 gems in order to capture them. If you don't have 1600 gems, you're just out of luck. So keep that in mind. Buy one pet, a defensive one so he can heal your team, and then keep going in the game. You do not want to buy an accessory, because if you look here in the PvP rewards, I think it's Gauntlet actually, just by participating in the Gauntlet this week, you can actually win a free accessory, which is going to give you 5% speed, health, or damage permanently as long as you wear this item. So keep that in mind. If you're just super efficient in the game and know these type of tips, it's going to save you a lot of gold and a lot of farming and a lot of other things. But if you guys like the video, please do subscribe. I'm going to continue to pump out the new player tips like this. I just want to help you guys as much as I can. And if there's anything else, do leave your name below, your in-game name, and I'll be sure to send one of my 100+ level friends to help you guys out. Have a good day, guys, and take care.